Welcome to the deep dive. We've gone through your collection of articles and historical data, and we're ready to pull out the essential story.
And today's story is really something special.
It is. We are diving deep into the life of Nishino Flower, a racehorse who was as important financially as she was, well, emotionally.
A true legend.
Our sources describe a horse that was, by all physical accounts, just a complete outlier. I mean, she was born small, looked fragile.
Wholly unimpressive to look at, I think is the phrase used.
Exactly. And yet this little chestnut filly became an undeniable genius on the track. She won 3 G1s and, maybe more importantly, became the literal lifeline that saved her entire breeding farm.
That's the part of the story that really gets me.
So our mission today is to figure out how this horse defied every single expectation. Size, age, racing distance. She broke all the rules. We want to trace that 30-year legacy that, believe it or not, continues today.
You know, if we zoom out a bit, Nishino Flower is more than just a champion. Her story is a case study in resilience and strategic genius.
Not just hers, but her team's, right?
Absolutely. It's about rewriting the rules. She didn't just win. She won when the stakes were at their absolute highest, with her home facing, well, imminent failure.
So that context is what takes her from great to legend.
It is. It's the essential ingredient.
Okay, so let's unpack her origins. She was born in 1989, a chestnut filly.
And on paper, her genetics were absolutely top tier. Her sire was Majestic Light, a powerful American runner.
Her dam was Duplicit, and her damsire was Danzig. I mean, Danzig is a name everyone recognizes for speed globally.
That's right. And that international pedigree is why her classification is so interesting. The sources note she was imported in utero.
So her mother was pregnant when she came over from the U.S.
Exactly. Her dam arrived pregnant, and Flower was born in Japan. What this really meant was that Nishiyama Farm had already made a significant investment in this American bloodline before she was even born.
A huge investment, which makes the next part so jarring. The physical reality was the polar opposite of that incredible pedigree.
It really was. She was described as thin, small, and just lacking that imposing look that you kind of expect from a future champion.
It's that classic, don't judge a book by its cover situation.
A perfect example. And the sources reveal a detail that I find fascinating. Apparently, several prominent trainers, after seeing her, refused to take her.
They just said no.
Turned her down flat. They look at that fragile frame and just concluded, that she wasn't built for the rigors of high-level racing.
That is just astonishing, to see the price tag, see the name Danzig, and still walk away just based on her size.
It's a huge call. They saw weakness where perhaps her eventual trainer saw something else, potential. And the sources are right to point out that this judgment, it would age terribly.
So how quickly did that judgment start to look bad?
Oh, immediately. She debuted in July of her 2-year-old season and just, boom, a dominant victory right out of the gate.
So the potential was there, just waiting.
It was there, and the momentum was just relentless. What's truly remarkable is the pace she set, still only 2 years old.
She followed that debut with the Sapporo Nisei Stakes, a G3 win. Then she took the Daily High Nisei Stakes, which is a G2.
So at this point, she's already making people talk. But then she caps it all off by stepping up to the top level, the Hanshin Sansai Himba Stakes.
Which we know today as the Hanshin Juvenile Fillies, a G1.
Correct. To stack a G3, a G2, and then a G1, all consecutively in your juvenile season. That's almost unheard of, especially from a horse people thought couldn't even handle the strain of training.
That run completely silenced the critics, right? This wasn't just a good horse.
No, this was a juvenile phenomenon. Undeniably, it marked her as special. She proved that heart and a quick turn of foot could more than make up for a lack of bulk.
And she carried that right into her 3-year-old campaign. There was a slight slip, a second place in the Tulip Show prep race, but then she aimed straight for the Japanese 1,000 guineas, the Oka Show.
And the Oka Show is where she cemented her status. She ran a masterful race, just a decisive victory. She was the 1992 Classic champion.
So think about that for a second. A G1 winner at 2, and now a G1 winner at 3.
The sources really stress this point because even today, that dual G1 achievement is rare. It shows you she had both that early speed and enduring class. She was the very top of her game.
But this is where the story takes a really crucial turn. After proving her brilliance at a mile, her team aimed for the longer classic distances.
The Japanese Oaks.
And that's where that small, fragile frame, it finally started to show its limits.
It did. She finished 7th in the Oaks, and later on she managed a respectable 3rd in the Queen Elizabeth II Cup. But those longer distances.
Just too much for her.
It seems so. Her stamina reserves just weren't there for those grueling trips. And this is a critical inflection point in her story.
It provides a lesson in intelligent management, I think.
It really does. For any owner, abandoning the classics, which are the absolute pinnacle of prestige, is a brutal decision. The pressure to just keep trying is immense.
So they didn't try to force it.
No, and that's the key. They made what the sources accurately call a bold, intelligent decision. They recognized that chasing those longer-distance dreams would probably ruin her career.
So they pivoted.
A complete pivot. They abandoned the traditional classic goals and refocused her entire future on where her brilliance really was. Short-distance racing, sprinting. That was the moment they chose legacy over prestige.
And that strategic shift is what truly defined the rest of her career. It immediately paid off in the autumn of that same season.
It did. She entered the Sprinter Stakes, the G1.
And importantly, this was her first time in a mixed-gender G1. She was a 3-year-old filly running against older, seasoned male veterans.
She was facing true giants, like Yamanen Zephyr, who was the reigning champion of the Yasuda Kennen, a huge mile race. The odds were definitely stacked against Little Filly.
But she had a plan.
Oh, her race strategy was magnificent. It just highlighted her sheer acceleration. She settled near the back, stayed out of trouble.
And conserved energy.
Exactly. Conserved all that energy until the final stretch. And then she executed this massive, explosive burst, surged right past everyone.
Including Yamanen Zephyr, to get her third G1 victory, a phenomenal performance.
It was. But the historical significance of that one race goes so far beyond her own win.
This is where she really enters the history books, isn't it?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because in that same field was another horse, Sakura Bakushino.
Now, at the time he was good, but not the legend he would become.
Not yet. He would go on to become the undisputed sprint king, dominating Japanese sprinting for years. And Nishino Flower's victory in that 1992 Sprinter Stakes, it gained an almost mythical status.
Why is that?
Because it was the only pure sprint G1 race that Sakura Bakushino ever lost in his entire career.
The only one.
The only one. She became the only horse to ever defeat the Sprint King in his own dominant domain. That one fact just carved her name into racing history forever.
Her 4-year-old season then proved it wasn't a fluke. She showed this incredible tactical flexibility. She won the Yomiuri Milers Cup, a G2.
By using a completely different tactic.
Right. She was known as a closer, coming from the back. But in the Milers Cup, she raced right up near the front, dictated the pace.
And held them all off. Beating Yamanen Zephyr again. That level of adaptability, winning from the back, winning from the front, that's true champion class.
And though the wins got a bit harder after that, her farewell was, as the sources note, incredibly dignified.
It was a perfect ending. Her final race, the Sprinter Stakes again, she finished third. Right there on the podium behind her two great rivals.
Sakura Bakushino and Yamanen Zephyr.
The two giants. She ran her heart out and retired right at the top level.
And after that amazing career, she went into the stud barn. Her record as a broodmare, well, it wasn't flashy with G1 winners, but it was deeply impressive for its consistency.
That's the key word. Consistency. She had 9 foals who raced, and 7 of them became winners. For a farm, that is crucial stability.
And we can trace that bloodline success pretty directly. Her daughter, Nishino Umamusume,
Sired by the great Agnes Tachon.
Right. She was a very good runner herself, finished second in graded races twice, and was even the second favorite behind the legendary mare Vodka in the Victoria Mile. So the speed was continuing.
It was. Which brings us to today. The sources highlight her great-grandson, Nishino Daisy.
His lineage is fascinating. It involves the Nishiyama Farm icon Seion, who is known for stamina.
And Nishino Daisy did something incredible. He won the same Sapporo Nisei Stakes G3 as his great-grandmother Flower, but then showed this wild versatility by winning the Nakayama Daishogai, a steeplechase JG1 twice.
So they weren't just breeding speed to speed, they were blending her brilliance with the stamina of a horse like Seion.
It's a brilliant strategic cross. It ensures the bloodline stays competitive and adaptable. And it's so vital because Nishino Daisy officially entered stud in 2024.
Meaning her direct influence is now moving into the next generation.
Exactly.
Okay, we saved this last part because it's really the emotional and financial anchor of her whole story. This wasn't just about winning races.
No, this was about horse fighting for the very existence of her home. That is the absolute truth here.
The sources are clear on this. In the early 1990s, Nishiyama Farm was in serious existential trouble.
Deep financial trouble. They had made some bad investments in imported stallions that had failed, and it created this massive financial hole that was threatening to bankrupt the entire operation.
So she wasn't racing for trophies, she was racing to keep the lights on.
Literally. For the farm's payroll, for its future.
So how did her success translate directly into saving the business? It couldn't have just been the prize money.
The prize money was critical, but it was really a three-pronged rescue. First, yes, the purses from 3 G1 wins were enormous. That provided immediate cash.
A huge injection of funds.
A huge one. Second, her fame. Her success raised the farm's profile from a struggling operation to one that produced a beloved champion. That elevated status is essential for attracting business.
And the third prong?
Her retirement income. Her offspring, 7 of 9 foals being winners, provided steady, reliable income for over a decade. It gave the farm time to recover.
So she provided the stability they needed for long-term survival. First on the track, then in the breeding shed. It's just a profound relationship between an animal and a family business.
Absolutely. And she lived out her days there as the farm's matriarch, passing away at the extraordinary age of 31.
31. An amazing lifespan, which just shows the care she received.
It does. And the final piece of this whole narrative, the thing that sums it all up, is the inscription on her gravestone. She's buried next to Sand Sky, and it reads,
"From genius girl to great mother, with gratitude to the mare who saved Nishiyama Farm."
I mean, few animals are ever honored with such a profoundly truthful epitaph.
So what does this all mean then? Nishino Flower was a true anomaly, dismissed early, became a juvenile superstar, a classic winner, a supreme sprinter.
And she holds that unique distinction of being the only horse to ever beat Sakura Bakushin-O in a pure sprint G1.
She is the ultimate proof that greatness doesn't need imposing size, that brilliance can come in a delicate package.
For you listening today, her story is this powerful example of how strategic adaptability, that willingness to pivot to sprinting, can solidify a legacy that ensures real-world survival. Her impact goes so far beyond the racetrack.
And now that legacy moves forward through Nishino Daisy, who just entered stud this year in 2024. So for you to think about, consider the pressure, the expectation, placed on a bloodline that literally saved a family business. What does the continued success of the Nishino line mean for the future of Japanese breeding? That you should certainly mull over.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more.